Tonight, May showers bring June flowers as desperately needed moisture soaks the province. Also, teachers get ready to vote on their contract deal. Plus, the CFL suspends a Grey Cup winning quarterback as training camps get set to begin.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Tuesday, May 6th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. The past couple of days have been umbrella weather in southern Saskatchewan, but after several years of drought in this province, the rain is not dampening spirits, mainly just the soil. Dane Patterson has more.
I don't think we could have ordered it any better.
If Goldilocks was a farmer in southern Saskatchewan, she might say the amount of rainfall she's had in her fields is just right. That seems to be the consensus.
It's coming slowly over multiple days, so it's all soaking in. You know, everybody I've talked to is kind of seeing the same thing. The neighbors, you know, the mood is lighter. We're all in a better mood because you're always on a little bit of pins and needles when you're going into a season drier than you'd like.
Over the last few years, Saskatchewan has suffered from several consecutive droughts. For at least 3 years, farmers have been struggling with land so dry that in some places you could stick your hand in the cracks. But this rainfall could change that.
This is probably the first time you could say that a multi-million-dollar rain happens the 1st of May, because usually you're looking for those in June, but we were so dry that this one is huge for the whole industry.
It's been steady enough and strong enough to sink deep into the soil. And it's been more rain on McCreary's land in the past 10 days than 2 of the last 3 years, he says. McCreary measured about 80 millimeters of rainfall on his land, which is about 3,300 acres located 90 kilometers southeast of Saskatoon.
It's a really positive position to be at in the 1st of May, and you can't either make or kill a crop on the 1st of May, but having soil reserves certainly increases the chance that that crop will be a positive outcome. There's no question that we will grow something.
The heavy downpour should also help drench the drier parts of land susceptible to wildfire. Saskatoon Fire says this one was caused by careless smoking. It burned about 800 meters long and 200 meters wide before it was put out.
You know, a lot of our grasslands and the river valley has been really dry, and there's been an extreme fire risk throughout the last 4 years. And so with this rain, it's really helping green things up, and we're hoping they'll reduce fire risk.
But while it's been helpful, it's also caused rainfall warnings from Environment and Climate Change Canada. They say to expect between 50 to 75 millimeters of rainfall by Wednesday morning in the most affected areas. That means it could cause flooding in low-lying areas and lead to dangerous driving conditions. So be safe on the roads and enjoy the puddles. Dane Patterson, CBC News, Saskatoon.
After months of job action and public tension, teachers in the province are set to vote on a contract proposal. It does not include classroom size or complexity. As Alexander Kwan reports, it's not clear if what's being offered is enough to get a yes vote.
It's a fair offer for our teachers. It's a fair offer and a good offer for parents and students across the province.
That's how Premier Scott Moe describes the contract offered to more than 13,000 teachers in the province. Teachers have been without a deal since August 2023, and since January have been carrying out job action. Now, the province has offered a contract that would see teachers' salaries increase 3% in the first and second year, with a 2% increase in the final year. There's also a provision about honoring an accountability framework to ensure provincial funding is used to benefit students. Moe's comments this week weren't a strong endorsement for what's on the table, but he also signaled what could happen if teachers reject the offer.
So it would be, unfortunate if through, various job action that has occurred or may be yet to occur, that school divisions would have to make difficult choices about maybe extending the school year by a number of days or weeks.
For one Saskatchewan political scientist, Moe's comments show a lack of leadership. Charles Smith says at this point he doesn't think anyone is happy.
If he was proud of this agreement, if there was endorsement from the union or from teachers themselves, I think we would hear different language.
And the STF hasn't shown much enthusiasm for the offer either. STF President Samantha Beacott wasn't available today, but previously told us she's staying neutral on the proposal, leaving the votes to the members. So where does that leave teachers?
I'm sure they've had a conversation about what it would mean if it's rejected, or overwhelmingly what that means going forward, because the membership has every right to reject it. And if it does, that means we're back to where we were before the vote, which means there's going to have to be new negotiations. They're going to have to go back to the bargaining table, or they're going to, continue with job action.
Teachers start voting Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., and the last vote must be cast by 6 p.m. on Thursday. Results are expected soon after. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
Despite performing a record-breaking number of surgeries in Saskatchewan last year, the opposition NDP says our province is lagging behind the rest of the country. According to the health minister, more than 95,000 surgeries were performed in the last year, and the wait list is down by 14%. But the NDP's health critic pointed to data from the Canadian Institute for Health Information. It shows the average wait time for a knee surgery here was 318 days, compared to the national average of 161. For hip surgery, the median wait was 232 days in Saskatchewan, compared to 131 nationally.
We still have some work to do, and we're not saying that there aren't people still on the wait list, and there's still people waiting for whether it's cataract surgery or hip or knee replacements, for example. We are making significant progress. That this continues to be a priority for us. We want to get those numbers down.
Hindley says the province is aiming for 100,000 surgeries this year. In a statement, the NDP's Vicky Mowat says it's clear the province could be performing more surgeries if they weren't sending patients to Calgary. A year ago, the government estimated 250 hip and knee surgeries would be performed in Alberta over 12 months. Only 90 were done, so the contract's been extended 6 months to use up the credit balance. The Saskatchewan government is launching a new ad campaign to raise awareness and help victims of human trafficking and sexual exploitation. These posters will go up in high-traffic locations around the province and on social media. It's a partnership between the province, community organizations, and the federal government. Those who help victims say awareness is important because it's a major issue here.
It is desperately needed. People do not realize how prevalent this is in the province. I'm in contact with someone in another province who was a trafficked individual who said there needs to be more focus in Saskatchewan because it is, particularly Regina, it is a money town. And there are people that are being moved through this city constantly.
People looking for more information or support can text or call 211 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is a service operated by the United Way. People will be offered support or information about human trafficking and sexual exploitation, as well as intimate partner violence, sexual assault, and family violence. Premier Scott Moe appears to have revealed the location for the province's future nuclear reactor, scooping Sask Power's announcement. It was during a keynote speech addressing the Saskatchewan Chamber of Commerce yesterday.
And that's why Sask Power is actively looking at small modular reactors being placed quite likely in the Estevan area, but I don't think that's been announced yet.
If the Premier is making these promises, I suppose I hope they're true for the community of Estevan. And I also think it points to some of the concerns that we've raised around whether or not these timelines and commitments that Sask Power is making publicly are real.
Sask Power has said it's looking at 2 regions for small modular nuclear reactors, Estevan and Elbow, near Lake Diefenbaker. The Crown Corporation said last week an announcement would be made later this year. Estevan is already home to Sask Power's Boundary Dam Power Station. Sask Power and the government have said a decision on small nuclear reactors would be made by 2029. Canada Post says its finances are at a critical point after losing a staggering $748 million last year. And the company says it will get worse if things don't change. Marina von Stackelberg explains.
All right. Canada Post says its financial situation is so grim, it could run out of cash in less than a year. The Crown Corporation has lost money 6 years in a row, a total of $3 billion.
Financially, things are very challenging.
The company says revenues keep declining as Canadians send less mail. And while online shopping has boomed, Canada Post is struggling to compete with new privately owned parcel companies. They hire gig workers who are cheaper and deliver packages on evenings and weekends. In a matter of years, Canada Post's share of the e-commerce market has been cut in half to just 29%.
We were doing a number of things to be able to better compete, but we didn't expect our market share to drop that quickly and for the competitors to take that much of the volume.
Unlike other Crown corporations, Canada Post isn't funded by taxpayers. It needs to sustain itself by making a profit. But unlike its private competitors, it has legal requirements, like delivering mail to all Canadians daily, even if it loses money doing it. Canada Post says it's time the federal government changed those laws.
How frequently do we deliver? If you have a community mailbox, a lot of people check it once or twice a week.
Ottawa won't commit to bailing out the company, but isn't ruling it out.
Whatever we need to support Canada Post in supporting Canadians, it will be envisaged, as we need Canada Post in the future.
The Canadian Union of Postal Workers is in the middle of contract negotiations. It wants a full return of door-to-door delivery and says the best solution to save Canada Post is for it to offer more.
CUPW has been fighting for a long time to do expansion of services at Canada Post, such as postal banking, as well as senior check-in.
But the company says in order to survive, it must focus on its core mandate, delivering mail and packages to all Canadians. To help pay for that, Canada Post did increase the price of a stamp this week to 99 cents. Marina von Stackelberg, CBC News, Ottawa.
London Drugs is gradually reopening its stores across Western Canada after a cybersecurity incident closed more than 80 locations for more than a week. London Drugs says it's working with an independent cybersecurity expert to bring its systems back online after the breach discovered April 28th. All Saskatchewan locations were temporarily shut down. Reopened stores are listed on the company's website, including 2 in Saskatoon and 1 in Regina. Oh, the grass is so green thanks to all that rain out there. Hard to complain about it when we know we need that moisture so badly. And it's only Tuesday. So are we in for a rainy week, or are we going to get some glimpses of the sun? Riley Lachuk will have your forecast after the break. Stay with us. The man crowned the CFL's most outstanding player last season has been suspended for at least half of the next season by the league. The Toronto Argos quarterback Chad Kelly will sit out at least 9 regular season games. It follows an investigation into allegations made against Kelly in late February. A female former Argos assistant strength coach is suing him for sexual harassment and the team for wrongful dismissal. Kelly is also suspended for 2 preseason games for violating its gender-based violence policy. The league says Kelly will also have to undergo assessments and attend counseling by a gender-based violence expert. That has to be done before the CFL will consider reinstating him.
This weather update is brought to you by Titan Automotive, proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
A live look now at a cloudy Regina, and it will get a little bit better out there. It's 11 degrees, but it leaves me wondering, our weather specialist Riley Lachuk joining us now with the forecast, if we're going to get to see the sun.
Well, Sam, after a couple of wet days, I do have some good news in the forecast. If you like sunshine and warmer temperatures, I want to step back and take a look at some rainfall totals. Keep in mind, these are as of 6 o'clock this morning, so it doesn't include what has fallen through the day today, but you can see kind of where in this darker green and these yellow colors here, this is a radar composite that kind of gives us a sense of where some of the heavier amounts fell. So Maple Creek, for example, 31 millimeters as of first thing this morning, but Coronach, Rockglen getting 30 and 40 millimeters in Regina, just over 22 as of first thing this morning, and as expected, lesser amounts the further north you go. So Saskatoon only seeing about 10 millimeters as of the morning, at least this morning. We'll have a better picture come tomorrow morning when we have totals from today, just how much rain fell in the last couple of days. So we are still seeing quite a bit of rainfall making its way through this southwestern corner of the province, even back through Regina and sort of along that Highway 11 corridor, picking up a few rain showers through the day today. And we do still have this rainfall warning in place. I think will likely get dropped within the next 12 hours or so here. and as expected, can see up to 75 millimeters locally by the time we hit the morning hours tomorrow. So looking at the futurecast here as we get through the next couple of days, you can see that system pushes out, and by 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, already in Regina at least, into the sunshine once again with a few showers along extreme southern Saskatchewan. Saskatoon, still a bit of cloud cover, but as we make our way through the rest of Wednesday into Thursday, things really do clear out, and we're looking at much sunnier conditions and much warmer conditions as well, and a lot less windy as we get through the next couple of days. In terms of rain to come, this takes us out till about supper time on Thursday, another 26 millimeters, at least according to this forecast modeling for that southwestern corner of the province. Otherwise, a trace to a few millimeters back to the east and through places like Moose Jaw and Regina. The winds do taper off as we get through the day on Wednesday as well. We're looking at northeast winds, 20 gusting to about 40 through the first part of the day tomorrow. Still hanging on a bit, but we do start to see things tapering off as we get through the rest of the day, and even really almost calm winds by the time we reach the afternoon in Saskatoon, for example, tomorrow. So sunnier conditions by the time we reach the afternoon tomorrow, and back up into the 20s for Regina for Thursday and Friday. Even at 25 on the board there for Saturday with a mainly sunny sky. Windy conditions return as we get into the early part of next week with 22 on Monday. For Saskatoon, we're looking at a clearing sky through the early part of tomorrow as well, 21 degrees, a bit breezy on Thursday. And we're looking at northwest winds, 30 gusting 50 in Saskatoon on Saturday with a high of 24. And the next few days, in fact, the rest of the 7-day forecast, Sam, in the 20s.
We've built an audience over a number of years now. It's always well attended and a really good time. So it's just something for summer fun if you want to have a staycation or you want to come in from outside of town. We are the place to be that week.
Regina Mayor Sandra Master is among those on hand to officially launch the countdown to the Queen City X. The fair runs July 31st to August 4th at Real District, and new this year, a newcomer program on August 2nd for families new to Canada. Advance tickets and ride passes go on sale next Tuesday. We'll be back after the break. Tonight, we're digging into a rising problem on Saskatchewan streets, bear spray. It's become a weapon of choice for some, causing disruption at malls, schools, and even a recent powwow. Police are discovering bear spray more often, and the number of criminal charges is also increasing. Regina Police reported 187 bear spray related charges last year alone, including assault with a weapon. And while using bear spray will get you a criminal charge, having it in an urban space carries a penalty too. A recent change to legislation allows for a fine of up to $100,000. The Minister of Justice maintains police agencies say it is necessary.
They desperately need help to address this issue. This is something that they are dealing with in urban settings every day and need help. And the public is dealing with it, businesses are dealing with it, people are injured as a result of it. It spreads fear.
When a judge is imposing a fine, they look at, like they're looking at a jail sentence, they look at what's required to deter or denounce the behavior of the person. And so obviously the higher the fine, the more significant that would be. But the ability to pay is another factor that has to be considered. We don't want people getting fiscal life sentences or akin to that. In fact, if anything, imposing draconian fines on individuals can drive them into other criminal activity.
So why are bear spray attacks so common? The host of CBC podcast Good Question Saskatchewan spoke with a former gang member and youth outreach worker to learn more.
I'm an ex-gang member. I've been in the gang for 15 years.
How familiar are you with how bear spray is used on the streets in our province?
When I got sprayed, me and my brother were walking to the store in Saskatoon, and it was my older brother, and he's not ganged up, but we ended up going to 7-Eleven. It was nighttime. We were drinking, and we ran into these other guys, and they're like other gang rivals. I didn't have anything on me. I wasn't carrying anything on me, but this guy pulled out like a big can of spray, like one of these jumbo cans, because they come in like medium, or they can get like those jumbo, like the bigger ones. Like I couldn't see nothing. Like this bear spray is what's used for bears that are like, coming to attack you, you know?
You know, I've seen in people carrying spray in elementary schools. So 12, 13, right? 15, 16 is common.
Chris, why is it common?
Well, one thing is like protection. Like you think like why do we carry weapons, right? Like usually half the time people can't fight. So or guns are too expensive or they can't get their hands on guns, but bear spray is a little bit easier to get your hands on. Like for me it was I just had a friend of a friend that would go into the store and just say that I'm here to get it for my father. He's going hunting this, and then it was easy. She just showed her ID and it was good.
I think if there is an attraction on why one leans to kind of bear spray, when you spray, you can spray from a far distance. So it gives you time to spray and perhaps take off, right? Versus, carrying a knife or some other weapon that you have to be in close.
I was probably 22 years old. I gave this other gang member a can of spray, and because he asked me for it, because he's going to be selling drugs.
Yeah. Where would you carry it? Like, did it fit in your pocket, Chris, or?
No, just like in front of your pants, just like a gun. Like, I don't know, just like carry it in front. Yeah.
But we're just not talking about individuals who are involved in gangs or sell drugs that are carrying bear spray. We're talking about, I know other youth that are not involved in that lifestyle, but they feel that they need to carry it for protection.
What do you think is really behind the number of incidents with bear spray?
A lot of people would say, people want to join gangs because they want to belong, right? I would flip that question, and I think it's kind of relevant to our discussion today. I would flip that question by saying, what is it about your community that makes young people or other people feel like they don't belong? If we're talking about people carrying weapons, and any type of weapons, knives, in this case, bear spray, what is it as a community that we're doing to make young people or, not feel safe?
Here's a look at your provincial forecast now for your Wednesday. A lot brighter and a lot warmer as we get through the day on Wednesday. And in fact, for the next few days, at least, we're looking at above seasonal conditions at this time of the year. So still a few showers hanging on in Maple Creek through the first part of tomorrow. 15 degrees, Regina and Saskatoon at about 20 degrees. So we're waking up in Regina tomorrow morning to a clearing sky, 9 degrees first thing with those northeast winds at 20. By noon, already 15 degrees, and by the late afternoon, heading up to 18 degrees. Saskatoon will start to see some clearing as well through the day on Wednesday. 15 degrees by noon and jumping up to just about 20 degrees, Sam, by the time we hit 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Thanks, Riley. And that's it for us tonight. For News Anytime, head to our website, to our YouTube channel, or go download the CBC News app. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.